want to relax your body and refresh your mind? When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Visit us on www.hotellaconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Ever imagined if you woke up one day and you are invisible? That's how you would look to the government if you were a citizen but you don't have a NIN.
You have a name? Do you have a NIN? Do not be like Mwede. Visit a NIRA registration center near you to get a NIN or renew your national ID today.
Welcome to Dreamland Hotel, where luxury meets convenience. Experience the perfect blend of comfort and sophistication at our premier hotel. Step into your home away from home, where elegance and comfort converge. Our spacious and beautifully appointed rooms and suites are designed to meet your every need. Relax and unwind in our tranquil accommodations, complete with all amenities to ensure a restful and rejuvenating stay. Hosting a business event? Look no further. Our hotel offers cutting-edge conference facilities that are sure to impress your guests. From intimate board meetings to large-scale conferences, our versatile spaces and professional staff will ensure your event is a resounding success. Dive into a world of relaxation and bliss at our magnificent swimming pool. Bask in the warm sunshine as you lounge by the water or take a refreshing dip. Our poolside oasis offers the perfect escape where you can unwind and soak up the serene atmosphere. Embark on a culinary journey at our exquisite restaurant, where flavors from around the world come together to tantalize your taste buds. From gourmet delicacies to local favorites, our talented chefs create culinary masterpieces that will leave you craving for more. Unwind and socialize at our vibrant bar and lounge, the perfect spot to enjoy handcrafted cocktails, fine wines, and a wide range of beverages. And let us take care of your every detail, making your time with us truly unforgettable.
Introducing Host TV, your ultimate advertising destination. Get 50% discount offer today. Elevate your brand with Host TV. Available on YOTV, Afro Mobile, and Host Media app. We offer commercial advertising, live event broadcasting, streaming service, social media marketing, publication on dailywestnile.info. We are Host TV. Connect with us on all social media platforms. Host TV, exploring.
They say modern problems deserve smart solutions, so there is no need to line up in queues or go in congested places just to purchase your grocery. Omia Foods gets you fresh, tasty and nutritious food stuff with no queues, no stress and no congestion. Get tomatoes, onions, cabbage, milk, dressed chicken, eggs, fruits and so much more at a market-friendly price with different payment options at the counter. You can pay using cash, Momo, Visa or FlexiPay, or dial our USSD code *284*173# to have an order delivered to you from our stores. We are located on plot number 6, Staff Lane, Junior Quarters, Arua City.
cut prices. Stream big and save bigger with your TV channels app. Enjoy your favorite shows, movies, comedy, local hits, kids content and sports for just 1,000 shillings daily plus a 4 GB data bonus. Better still, for just 2,500 shillings, grab the weekly bundle with 10 GB streaming data and a 3-day free trial. Don't wait. Download the OTV channels app now and take control of your entertainment. Pause, rewind, record, play anytime, anywhere. Stream big, save bigger with your TV channels.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Visit us on www.hotellaconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Ever imagined if you woke up one day and you are invisible? That's how you'd look to the government if you were a citizen but you don't have a NIN.
You have a name? Do you have a NIN? Do not be like Mwede. Visit a NIRA registration center near you to get a NIN or renew your national ID today.
Welcome to Dreamland Hotel, where luxury meets convenience. Experience the perfect blend of comfort.
Yes, it is a very beautiful morning right here at Host Hub Innovation Village. You're watching Host TV. Remember, it is a fresh start of the week, and the week we're talking about is Monday, that is 11th of August 2025. A very bright and chilly day right over here. And remember, this is the Morning Explorer program that is happening right over here in Arua City. Wherever you're catching us from, remember today is a very special occasion for us in here, and Desire is in the settlement representing Host Hub Innovation Center in one of our partner engagements right over there. And as an innovation hub, we're always very pleased to have all the ideas, the programming shaped by female representative right over there. I'll be in riding you through this very show here. Remember, being a fresh start of the week, we have a lot of things that will be coming on. The weekend has been quite a long one since Friday. I also do miss you very passionately right here in the Morning Explorer. So remember, it will be running your way from Monday to Fridays from 6 to 9 a.m. where we start the mornings with that is Al Jazeera stream, and later on we relay you services and prayers that run from 6:30 to 7. And now we have an active programming that is going wherever you're catching us from. You could be from within Arua City, or you could be within West Nile. You could be in other cities like Gulu. You could be in Lira City, Fort Porto, Mbarara. Wherever you're catching this from, I just be able to know that we're very much pleased that you keep on getting us right here on Host TV, and we are all over on the Your TV platform. We're also on Afro Mobile, by the way. With Afro Mobile, you can actually watch us on your Hisense screen. If you have a Hisense screen, just like the one behind me here, you can be able to download, that is the Afro Mobile app, and you'll be able to enjoy Host TV without a decoder. That is the revolution we're going in for as the world keeps on going forward. And don't forget also, you can also download our own app, that is the Host Media app. Just go on to, that is a Play Store, and you will be able to see that app there. Just write Host Media without any spacing, and then you will be able to get the Host Media app where you can access us 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That is how accessible Host TV is. And for those who are watching also in other cities like Juba, thank you very much for being part of this. And those who are also watching us all the way from South Africa, if you're from Accra, Ghana, or you're from Nigeria as a capital, that is Abuja, or you're from Ethiopia, or you're even in Europe or in America, any other part of the continent, as a satellite TV, we go globally on this very domain that is a Host TV media, that is a Host Media right over there. And I don't know how your week has been, by the way. It has been a very, very funny week for us. Those in Uganda, a lot of things have happened. Remember, it is always on the weekends that the newsrooms, all the world is into party moods. Some of you might be coming out from a club, or some of you might be coming out from, I don't know where you're coming in from. Just know that it's a real thing. The week has already started. If you're heading to work, I must be able to say safe journey to you. And those who are preparing children to go to school, also make sure that safety is very key. If you're a border guy, or you are a parent, parent who is riding the kids, or you're even escorting them on foot. Just remember to know when you reach the road, remember to look right, left, right, before you cross it over there to be very safe on the road. A lot of things are happening. Remember also today, as a fresh start of the week, we want to understand what does it mean for a youth entrepreneur to be able to start a business and understand the dynamics of business. Many people have been talking about loans right over there, but loans are not things that have just started today. They started way back. Finances have been restrained on loans, and access to capital, access to finance is a very big thing. So today, later on, in the second hour, I'll be having a successful entrepreneur who is called Mr. Andam Obeida, who will be in studios here to discuss more on issues that are affecting, issues affecting youth entrepreneurs. Many youth ventures start up very well, but they do not actually reach their first birthday. So that is a big discussion that will be shaping in here later on in the second hour of that is this very show, that is the Morning Explorer. Don't forget also, later in the day we have other programming coming on. But for the Morning Explorer, right now I must be able to say that wherever you're catching us from, it is my pleasure to have you hosted and to have you live in here. And by the way, there has been a lot of issues around the petitions in India now that the NRM legal focal person, that is Enoch Baraka, has come on also to say that actually most of the petitions have been dismissed. Only one has been upholded for re-election, that is in Kapchorwa. So the rest of them, wherever they are, according to the sources in here, they have been dismissed. A huge, you would be able to get also later on the press briefings right over there. And something also very passionate I must be able to tell the youth is tomorrow we'll be having the International Youth Day. But of course in Uganda this day has been postponed to see that President Museveni comes to be very available for this. But today also later on we'll be shaping the discussions around there. What does it mean to celebrate a successful youth? What does it mean to celebrate a youth who has ventured into business and has prospered? That later on, Mr. Obeida will be shaping that discussion in the second hour over this very show here. But for the morning hours, we started right over here. I can see on my screen right there from the production room trying to signal to me what happened on this day, and basically to look at today in history. If you look right over there, just today in history, what happened on this very day is what my screen is projecting right over there. And going on history to see what actually happened on this very day here. Let's start with African history to see on this very day what really happened today in history. And if you very well know that in around the years 1969 up to around 2003, there was a very big Senegalese rapper. If you had always known only Akon of being an only Senegalese rapper, there's what we call Diede Awani, a Senegalese rapper, is born on this very day. So if you celebrate your birthday, you're celebrating it with, of course, Diede Awadi, who is a rapper from Senegal, and he was actually born on this very day. And other people who were also born on this day were James Machan, who is the first president of Seychelles. You remember Seychelles Island? He was actually born on this very day, that very famous island, where people like Kabaka Mwanga were taken into exile. And it continues to be one of the beautiful destinations in East Africa. And inside the Indian Ocean, you can be able to find that very well. But of course, the Seychelles Islands, the first president was born on this day in 1939. And of course, very recent to the history, today in history, is in 2017, that is a Nigerian musician and journalist who was called Segun Bankno, died actually on this very day. It's a very sad one to remember him. May his soul rest in eternal peace. He died in 2017, just recently. But of course, earlier in 2003, if you know of the struggles for that is Taylor's reign, that is in Liberia, and in the Second Liberian Civil War that took place from around 1997 up to 2003, that was the very time when his reign ended with that, of course, war, civilization war that was in Liberia. And of course, if you know of Chad's history, today actually Chad is celebrating her independence. In 1960, that was the year when Chad got her independence. Remember, later on that year, 1958 up to around 1965, these were actually the years in which many African countries got their independence. You remember, Uganda got her independence in 1962, and the last country to get independence was South Africa in 1994. That is in the African history. If you know about the independence reign, independence eras of African countries, right over there, you'll be able to get it right there. And also, in a very sad one, that was in 2017, At least 41 people were killed, among others, and 179 injured after two passenger trains collided. That is in Egypt. That was something very tragic in here. But of course, to us in Uganda, if you remember this day very well, you would also be able to remember that on this very day, that was when Chitezi landfill actually subsidized on people, whereby over 25 people died, and of course 38 plus were injured, and 171 of them were left homeless. That incident happened on this very day. That was in the year, if you remember very well, last year around this time. That was when we woke up to just realize that there was a landfill instance that actually took a lot of people's life that is a Chitezi landfill. A lot of controversies came over this, whether and how the government failed to ascertain that this calamity would happen, when even there were a lot of warnings, there were a lot of research incidents pointing to that the landfill, Chitezi landfill, was bound to collapse and was bound to be a disastrous moment for Uganda right over there. So these are instances that have shaped today in history from the African perspective, even coming as far as to Ugandan history right over there. And if you also go ahead to look at what happened on this very day here in the African history, not the world history, you'd be able to know a lot of things that happened on this very day here. But key to it to note is that of course, the famous allies of Japan offered to surrender on the condition that Emperor Hirohito retains his status. That was in the year 1945. Towards the end of the Second World War, that was when the Japanese, remember, the last bombings over Hiroshima and all this. So the allies of Japan actually by this time refused to offer to surrender right over there. And a very fascinating one was in the year 1988, when actually Al-Qaeda was formed. Remember, the Al-Qaeda that had a lot of these insurgencies, bombings in Uganda, in Somalia, and later on also in Kenya, was actually formed on this very day in 1988. I remember the person who was very famous to this was Osama bin Laden, who was later on brought down to his knees to death in 2003 by, of course, the American forces during the famous operation that raided him in Pakistan, where he was being hosted right for that year. I remember that very meeting between Osama bin Laden and Ayman al-Zawahiri, who formed this very what we call now the Al-Qaeda, the United Brotherhood. That is actually the Arabic word meaning right over there. And of course, in 2003, today in history, we also see that NATO takes over command of the peacekeeping forces in Afghanistan in the first major operation outside Europe in its 54 years history. Remember, NATO has been one of the world's strongest bonds, whereby from being a promise only, NATO has continues to be a very big military base for, that is the countries, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, that did see countries, of course, a big to it is the United States of America. After the end of Second World War, these countries came together to now say that we'll always be fighting together. From being a promissory note, now that it's one of the most formidable forces in the world that no one can dare to fight with. NATO forces in there, and we see them shaping a lot of history. If you remember what is happening in Ukraine and Russia, it was because Ukraine had hopes of joining NATO, which Russia actually didn't want, because that would give direct support to Ukraine if things were to be rained upon honor the histories of Ukraine being a former country or former colony of that is Russia right over there after the fall of the Soviet Union in 1990, and by the around 2000 when the Soviet Union jack was lowered, and of course the fall of Russia, and later on the lost countries of Russia. So there has been a lot of history that has been shaped by NATO over the years right in there. And of course, if you also go ahead to see today in history, a lot of history happening on this very day here, you would be able to see, if you know of the French history, 1792, Marie Antoinette history is in there, the French Revolution. There was a lot of instances that happened also on this very day here. So a lot of issues happening right here. Remember, viewer, wherever you're getting us from, history keeps on repeating itself. Some of these things look very alien, but they keep on coming back to us in one way or the other. You're watching Host TV right over here. And I remember later on in the second hour, I will be getting in studio to have our own, that is a successful entrepreneur who is a CEO, who has worked in very many organizations, also the big companies in Uganda, If I talk about roofings, if I talk about Uganda Bati, if I talk about being a successful entrepreneur, I'm talking about Obaida, who will be with us here in the second hour. We want to understand, when a week is starting up like this, we always bring out fresh ideas on how you can be a successful entrepreneur, just like how he has been over the years, right? I remember today we'll be running this with you together up to the hour of, that is at 9 a.m. And just as I told you, Desire is on a special mission representing Host Hub in the settlement, and as an innovation hub, we're very proud of her, and promoting female voices. That is a very big thing for us as an innovation hub right over here. And before we get into the press briefing, what's happening on the papers today, let's catch up with the music, the song of the day. This is an inspirational song coming in from West Nile, and if you don't know, this artist is called Tune Sapena, and the song is called Obibia. And I don't know when you last. The word Obibia means actually someone who copies the neighborhood. If in your neighbor is eating meat and you always want also to eat meat, you would end up doing bad things. That is also a big message that this song is putting right away. Let's cross over to my production room and see that we get to listen to this inspirational song of the day. And later on, when I come back here, we'll be doing a press briefing. What is in the papers today? Let's get to listen to the music, and when we come back, it will be press briefing.
Tunes up in a vibration, Father Judgment perfection on this one. Predator Music Empire, Judgment perfection. And the rappers so akumatrilia, eyo roma zakosu ewana mbamba, eyo ni mibidile, eyo ni mesedole, driveza mingi sana, tafa mifuweriari, matami ni tata. Madripila, obibiasi, etomato vera. Bari isumi makoti mima size si mabibi we tirani be igba mi budget ku ari sikundi le bandundu mi ngobi mi bazi be kuya eyo bazi va kwari le mi obire mi vuri be kuya opori atima tira enyame furanzi marwa matala Anzima laki skulura, sabuni matezwa, oduma tezwati, eyo azira kidi ye mundo. Obibi yasi, akuni ye ready, yasara ni ready. Obibi yasi, akini ye ready, oh na na na. Baka sesa kakarumadra, idumi masawa, ibava mungu ni fera. Afakovuti, agara mini lezuba malakine misende pie mi mali pede sumi dani bari mi ngobi mi bazi bekuya eyo bazi vakwari le mi obire mi vuri bekuya opori atima tira enyame furanzi marwa matala Anzima laki skulura, sabuni matezwa, oduma tezwati, eyo azira kidi ye mundo. You can never be me, I can never be you. Love what God has given you. Don't force yourself because others do. Do what you can afford to do. Live your own life, don't compare the people. Don't jump from zero to another level. Stop pretending and lying to people, cause they be thinking that you are wealthy. Afakovuti, iyoti, koviyo, iyoyo. Agara mini lezuba malakini misende pie mi mali pede sumi dani bari. Mi ngobi mi bazi bekuya, iyo bazi vakwari le mi obire mi vuri bekuya. Opori atima tira, enyame furanzi marwa matala. Anzima laki skulura, sabuni matezwa, oduma tezwati, eyo azira kidi ye mundo. Mi ngobi mi bazi bekuya, mi ngobi mi bazi baziva kwarile myobire mivuri bekuya Madipi mamupiwe Opori atimatira Tunes up in a vibration. Father Judgment perfection on this one. Predator Music Empire. Judgment perfection. And the rappers so akumadrilia. Eyo roma za kosu ewana mbamba. Eyo ni mibidile, eyo ni mesedole. Driveza mingi sana. Tafa mivuweriari, matami ni tata. Madripila, obibiasi, etomato vera. Bari isumi makoti mima saizi si Mabibi we jirani be igba mi budget ku Ari sikundi le bandundu Mingo bimi bazi bekuya Eyo bazi vakwari le myobire mivuri bekuya Opori atimatira enyame furanzi marua matala Anzima laki skulura sabuni matezwa Otuma tezwati eyo azira kidi ye mundo O bibi yasi akuni ye ready Yasara ni ready O bibi yasi akini ye daddy Oh na na Baka sesa kakarumadra Idumi masawa ibava mungu ni fera Afakovuti Agara mini lezuba malakini misende pie mi mali pede sumi dani bari Mingo bimi bazi bekuya Miyo bimi bazi bekuya Eyo bazi vakwari le myobiri mivuri bekuya Opori atimatira enyame furanzi marua matala Anzima laki skulura sabuni matezwa Otuma tezwati eyo azira kidi ye mundo You can never be me, I can never be you Love what God has given you Don't force yourself because others do Do what you can afford to do Live your own life, don't compare the people Don't jump from zero to another level Stop pretending and lying to people Cause they be thinking that you are wealthy Afakovuti, iyosi, kovio, iyoyo Agara mini lezuba malakini misende pie mi mali pede sumi dani bari Mingo bimi bazi bekuya Miyo bimi bazi bekuya Eyo bazi vakwari le myobire mivuri bekuya Opori atimatira enyame furanzi marua matala Anzima laki skulura sabuni matezwa Otuma tezwati eyo azira kidi ye mundo Mingo bimi bazi bekuya Eyo bazi vakwari le myobire mivuri bekuya Madipi mamupiwe Opori atimatira enyame furanzi marua matala Anzima laki skulura sabuni matezwa Otuma tezwati eyo azira kidi
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Visit us on www.hotellaconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Yes, a good morning, viewer. You're watching a Hosta TV, and we're coming live from Hostab Innovation Village, right here in Arua City. And wherever you're catching us from, you could be getting us on your TV, or on Ofro Mobile, or on also the Host Media app. Remember to download the Host Media app from the Google Play Store, right over there. It is at this very time that we get to look at what is on the papers today, and I'm talking about the New Vision and the Daily Monitors. That are the key papers I have with me here. Just on the New Vision, most NRM primary petitions dismissed is a big story right over there, and how Uganda got involved in a Mexican arms drug cartel is a big story that also the New Vision has. How also PDM has turned around household into fortunes is a success story that the New Vision did capture about PDM right over there. And of course, General Kainerugaba, that is Mhozi, holds talks with South Sudan's President Kir right over in the New Vision, and over 870 jobs is what you can be able to get on the papers right over there. But remember, on the big stories is on the NRM petitions right over there. I remember we did say that NRM only needed 29 days to make sure that these petitions come to reality, and from 6th of August we have been listening, hearing, and getting all the circulating news about these petitions, whether some of them will be considered for re-election or rerun. There were a lot of rumors, and I remember at some point we did bring for you a very legal person in studio that is from Odaman Company Advocates to try to understand what does it mean for a petition to be very successful right over there. But of course today, and in the New Vision paper, you'll be able to get to know that most of these petitions have been dismissed, and out of which only one has been upheld for re-election, that is the Kapchora election. Remember, there were also elections in West Nile. We had Honorable Shori Maurin, who has been petitioned by Honorable Dramaza, together with Honorable Sela Obia. We did also have a petition in Arua, that is Arua Central Division, a mayor MP seat, where Honorable Atima Lead Incumbent was petitioned by Deborah Ronald. According to the papers right in here, it is the NRM election tribunal has dismissed most of the parliamentary elections, and the election that actually started in August 6th, only one has been upheld. You can buy that on the New Vision paper, and you'll be able to get that. Of course, that is what we'll be able to get. You can also get to add your voices on these matters, on, of course, joining us on the WhatsApp numbers that are rolling on your screen right over there. And going on to the Daily Monitor. Daily Monitor also did capture that story in there. But of course, you would be able to see the one big story the Daily Monitor has is the Watoto Church sacks pastor over sexual immorality. Is a very big story that the Daily Monitor has captured in here. Also, government quotes private sector to fund climate projects is one big story that the Daily Monitor has put in here. Coming back to the first story that the Daily Monitor has captured, also there is one about Kanungu Road to be renamed in honor of that is Garuge. Remember, Garuge did die, and there was a very special council sitting for him right over there. But of course, going back to the first story that is coming from the Daily Monitor right there, Batoto, which was previously, by the way, the Kampala Pentecostal Churches recently celebrated 40 years of its existence of preaching the gospel, but stories coming over the weekend indicates that there was a very key issue involving, that is a pastor, one of the key pastors, that is Ruetonio Julius, who was sacked in an open video broadcast during the Sunday services at Watoto church right over. Remember, Watoto has continued to spread throughout the world, even in Gulu, and being a church based on the truth of the gospel. The church did not actually express more concerns on what really these issues over the sexual immoralities were, but Pastor Julius was one of the key pastors being impeached, sacked by, that is the famous Watoto Church right over there. And if you also go on the New Vision, there's a story about if you look at how Uganda got involved in a Mexico arms drug cartel. 4 individuals, one of which including Uganda's key policy experts, who were also allegedly in a connection of selling guns to a Mexican cartel. Remember, Mexico has one of the biggest crime rates in the world, and of course, if you look at issues of drugs, if you look at issues of gangs, there are very organized gangs and criminal groups in Mexico who actually terrorize the region, and having guns is one of the easiest ways they could be able to do that. But of course, Ugandan policy advisors have been indicated as a conspiring supply of military grade weapons to this very Mexican gang that is called Gang the name is called Jalisco Nuevo Garcoda. It's a gangster group that is in Mexico. And of course, the New Vision did capture that story right over there. If you're able to buy the New Vision, you will get that story on page 3 over the papers right over there. And of course also there is a very big story here. I remember I did in the today's in history, I did talk about the instances that happened on this very day, one of it being based in Uganda, the Chitesi landfill, which collapsed on people. And on this very day we woke up with alarming shocking 35 deaths and 28 injured, 280 left homeless. That was the biggest tragedy over last year. And today we're yet to see if this story is meant to Ugandans, because as I speak now, government has not yet compensated the people, the victims over this very landfill here, because the issues relating to this story saying that previously there were signs showing that Chitezi landfill was bound to actually collapse right over there. But of course, these stories are all on the New Vision right over here. It's a very sad one that we are remembering instances that did happen some years back, those years back. It's a very big story that the papers have captured right in here, how these instances happened in, that is last year. Also on the papers, that is the New Vision, government to compensate Garuga family for the lost ranches. Remember, Daily Monitor also did mention a story about Garuga's death right over there, where they are to honor a road in his name. But of course, honor in here, Matthias Kasaija did point clearly on how government is to compensate the Garuga family for the lost ranches. I remember government has been into a lot of compensation sagas. There are also compensations over the people who had been doing businesses in places like Juba, where traders lost a lot of money during the insurgencies of 2011 and 2014, and this has also been other things that the government is tasked to, of course, compensate. But of course, on the papers is what we get it right over here, a government to compensate, that is the Garuga family right in there. And there's a very big and success story that the New Vision did capture about PDM on page 4 to 7, quite 3 pages of how PDM has turned households to be what we call fortunes in there. Remember, the PDM is a presidential initiative that the president of Uganda did launch for Ugandans. And it is one thing that we must be also to appreciate President Museveni of. That is, for the first time, we did see a president coming in to give money directly, injecting money to develop our parishes right over there. And if you're someone who has not received this money, remember, government has put in a lot of money. Over the weekend, we did have, that is our assistant RCC, Matua Richard Job, right here in the program. That is the discussion point with our owner, that is Hamid. And I remember he talked much about the issues of PDM right over there. And if you're in Arua, you must actually be able to go and register your group right over there. If you also within Uganda, you could be from Fort Portal, from Barara, from Jinza, from Gulu, from Lango area, any other where you are from. Remember to uptake the PDM right over there. And on the Citizens Manifesto is a very big story on how PDM has also turned to be fortunes in there. And on business, there's a story on how Museveni calls for removal of trade barriers in landlocked countries. That is on page 10 over the New Vision right over there. You must be able to get yourself copies over that, and just make sure you also can access over 870 job offers right over there. But the big story is in, just been circulation that our own, that is the CDF general, that is Muhoozi Kainerugaba, is in South Sudan, and he has held talks with the president of South Sudan, that is Salva Kiir, over the instances. Remember, for the last 1 week, we have been reporting about instances where there has been fighting between Ugandan forces and, of course, the South Sudanese forces over the border instances. If you talk about the Fitina Mbaya border area, which is deep inside Kei, where the South Sudanese military forces did come through and attack residents, touching down houses, and this has been a very big story running throughout. And of course, in Juba, we did see how Kainerugaba had talks with the military. UPDF has a position in, that is protecting the peace in, that is Juba, whereby there's Operation Silencing. Of course, something to do with silencing right over there, that is protecting the South Sudanese government, that is bringing peace in over there. UPDF has been very instrumental in bringing peace, not only in Uganda, but in other places like Somalia, and South Sudan actually forms one of the operation zones of the UPDF. Remember, they are also in Congo, that is Democratic Republic of Congo, Operation Suja. They are in Somalia, also fighting the insurgencies right over there under the AMISOM forces. And in other places like Central Africa, UPDF has been very vocal in fighting this. So that is what the New Vision has captured right over there. And of course, also, if you go on, that is on the New Vision, there is a very big story. Ugandans indicted oversupplied weapons to Mexican drug cartels is what the New Vision did capture, and the Daily Monitor also captured that very story there. You can also read yourself that story. And there has been a story of Dr. Besigye requesting for bail. Remember, why doesn't you extend a hand of forgiveness to Dr. Besigye? Is a very big story that the Daily Monitor did capture there. Remember, Dr. Kizza Besigye's bail has been denied again, and of course together with Obeid, with whom he was arrested in right over there. But on sports, there is the Daily Monitor did capture a story about CHAN 2024 exposes deep cracks in Uganda sports governance right over there. Remember, Uganda did lose the first match to, that is of course, Algeria, and later on over the weekend, Uganda did tamp, of course, Guinea 3-0 right over there, where the whole of the week there has been talks about Uganda Cranes, and we are also yet to see how Uganda will be facing Niza right over this very week in the CHAN tournaments that are happening in Nambole. You can actually get yourself to that very podium and watch the games live at Nambole Stadium right over there, and that's a very fresh story in there. But of course, CHAN 2024 is a classic case of how mismanagement can turn national ambitions into public embarrassment. There have been a lot of issues reported about FUFA, misappropriation of funds. Remember, FUFA receives a lot of funds from FIFA and also receives a lot of funds from the Sports Council, from Uganda government in the development of sports. And right now we are seeing a lot of stadiums being raised up. I remember the Hoima Stadium is coming up, the Kibwa Stadium is also coming up, and other stadiums that are also coming up to see that Uganda gears up for the AFCON that is coming up, the Pamoja bid right over there. Those are the stories that the Daily Monitor has for you right in here. And there's a big story that the Daily Monitor also has is the government calls private sector to fund climate projects, and the public sector cannot do a lot, by the way, when it comes to climate action and greening economy and access to green financing. All this the government cannot do alone. The public sector can also not do a lot. So the private sector that owns a lot of investment in Uganda's economy is also one that has been petitioned by the government to see that they must actually come to see they can be able to take on issues of climate action right over there. It is a very big story that the Daily Monitor has captured in here. And there is a prime story that the Daily Monitor has also captured in here. It's that is NRM Pan-Africanism solid? When you talk about NRM Pan-Africanism, President Museveni, who is the vision bearer for NRM, has always been talking much about issues of Pan-Africanism right over there, and that strains back to issues over how they have been instances where President Museveni has issues coming from the issues of how he has been very vocal on our island economies that over the years has been very vocal. And if you look at the island economies that the President Museveni has been boosting off, talks much of how our economy has been over those years, from being a very small economy, driving away the Indians in the year 1970s up to when he brought them back into the economy, and playing a lot is what the New Vision has captured in here. And if you look very much on the NRM Manifesto, you'll be able to see that the NRM Manifesto rotates around the economy that President Museveni has always been talking about, and it's a very big opinion poll that the Daily Monitor has captured right over there. That is Pan-Africanism solid is something that you can actually get yourself and read right over there. And on international scene, you see Israeli kills Al Jazeera journalist, with what actually Hamas leaders have said in here. There's been a lot of contestations with the issues concerning the Middle East, where the Gaza has continued to be a lot of issues. America has also poked in nose. Remember, Trump did say that he wants to seize Gaza for his business ventures. Trump being an estate dealer and one of the richest persons on the planet as well, also has been talking much about taking on Gaza. But of course, we did see also the two media houses, the Al Jazeera and the not really CNN, but BBC have been reporting at different angles about the instances happening in Gaza. But of course, at some point, not really at some point, of course, it's official that Al Jazeera has been banned by Israeli from reporting inside Gaza. And if you look at the story in here, Israeli kills Al Jazeera journalist, is what actually the Hamas leaders have said in here. And of course, on the sports, the Daily Monitor did put a very big story there, end of an era, as of course you did see how Vuvuzelas were cancelled. But of course, in the match right over there, we did see how a lot of expectations, a lot of ululation. If you are able to see some of the viral TikTok videos, you'd be able to see Ugandans actually love wins. We are yet to see on the very first day when Uganda was thumped 3-0. We did see a lot of people walking out even without a lot of vigor. But of course, over the weekend, that 3-0 win did bring a lot of fans for Uganda. We hope to see a lot coming in for the Niger game right over there. A lot of stories on the papers today right over there. You can be able to catch yourself all this paper, and you can also follow our own, that is at the Daily West Nile a blog site, and catch the stories that are running right over there. Just like what I told you at the top of the hour, we'll be having a successful entrepreneur. As we always start a new week for us here at Host Hub Innovation Center, we look at also people who inspire youths in one way or the other, and we'll be getting at the top of the hour one gentleman, a successful entrepreneur, a successful businessman, a successful person who has worked all these years, and remember, he would be sharing us insight into how we can be able to have businesses. A lot of research has been done about Uganda. We are actually the most entrepreneur country in that is in East Africa and also in Africa. Very many businesses come up in Uganda, but they do not actually reach their first year of celebrating the birthday. People pick up with startups, people pick up with businesses, but these businesses do not reach actually their first birthday. And many of the youths have been wondering, how can I be able to access loans? There are very many businesses that start up from loans, and they are now climaxing and they're making it to their 10th, maybe their first anniversary. They are going into celebrating 50 years plus. So these are the issues that we want to discuss in the second hour of this very show here, and we'll be having Obeid Andama, who will be joining us to shape that discussion later on at the top of the hour. Remember, you can be part of that discussion later on by getting us on the WhatsApp platform, that is 070-2321-169. And also, you can drop your comment on, remember, we're running on our Facebook page, on the Host TV Facebook page, or you can go on X, drop your comments right over there. We'll be sharing them insights right in studio here. But just from the papers, by the way, a very big issue that we'll also be following throughout the day is on the issues of the NRM petitions right over there. Many of you have been asking about what happens to the Arua Central City petition, whereby Honorable Atima Lee Jackson has also been petitioned by, that is Deborah Ronald right over there. But remember, on the papers, we did have that a very big story. Most of these petitions have been dismissed. And this week also, we will be going into polls. That is one thing we must be able to know, that the last batch of the NRM primaries will be happening this very Saturday. And those councillors who've been yearning to see, remember, we did host some of them here earlier last week and earlier the other week. We'll be having them being elected this coming Saturday. Remember to vote wisely, and remember to get the right leader. If you're within Arua, if you're within West Nile, or you're from Acholi sub-region, you're from Lango, you're from Karamoja, you're from Teso sub-region, all over, you will be going into polls for that is the NRM primaries happening right in here. So a lot of issues happening. Actually, I wanted to push a conversation as the week is going on issues of peaceful election. We have actually seen in Arua a lot of issues related to violent instances. And if you look at the nominations from around Thursday up to around Saturday, you'll be able to see the town was taken up by a lot of activities. Each party trying to come up very vibrantly to see that I'm actually the big in the race here. So a lot is happening. Let's also continue to keep peace and to make sure that we have a very peaceful election. Remember, after this primary election, we still have the big one, that is the national elections. And we did see how some dates have been altered by the Electoral Commission, not only the Electoral Commission, but by the Independent Electoral Commission. We did see a press briefing coming around Friday, whereby the key dates for nominations for the mayors and of course also for the councillors have been pushed by some alterations right over there. So a lot of things are happening. Remember to make sure that you vote on Saturday during the NRM. And tomorrow, by the way, it is a youth day, and as a youth space, Host Hub celebrates youth in a very special day. So we want to get to shape the discussion also around that. How do we celebrate the youth day? Remember, Uganda will not celebrate it as planned. by the international fraternity. Tomorrow is supposed to be official date for Uganda to join the rest of the world to celebrate that is International Youth Day. And of course also Arua City and other cities and other districts are supposed to celebrate in this very day, on that very day that is dedicated for the youths. But this has been postponed. For Uganda's case, it is believed that they needed President Museveni to be part of this. And of course, if you did follow the statements coming in from the Minister for Youth, that is Balam, he did say they wanted President Museveni to be part of this day. And for that case, this day has been pushed forward. So how do you feel as the youths, the 77% of Ugandan youths, that a day dedicated for us, we cannot uphold it on that very day? Is a discussion that we'll also be shaping on later on. We'll be having in studio the youth leaders are coming in here from, of course, 3:30 to 5 during the civic space program to discuss more what are the plans that the day has been shifted. How do you intend to celebrate? But for us as Host Hub, tomorrow as Host TV through our programming, would be projecting on issues of how the youths have been, how the PDM has affected the youths, how the youths in various spaces have taken up to make sure that they are able to do a lot of issues that are developmental to them. And remember, Desire is also in the settlement or representing Host Hub in one of our partner engagement to see how, as a youth space, we are shaping the ideas over, that is the youth. And remember, the Host Hub Innovations Center, one of our greatest ideas is co-creating together with other youth-led organizations in the Youth CSO Hub as a co-creation hub, as a hub that offers space to many other youth-led initiatives happening in Arua City and also in Yumbe District as well. So wherever you are, Desire, I want to say thank you very much for always being very vocal. And at Host Hub, we push youth voices, particularly the female voices, right over there. So we'll be getting into our faster break for that is this very first hour, and later on when we come back here, we'll be ushering in a very special discussion that you must actually not miss out on. Remember, you can access us on Your TV, those who are watching us on Your TV, and those also watching us on Afro Mobile. Big news to it is that from August, we did actually launch a breakthrough with our partnership with the Afro Mobile app, that if you have a Hisense screen, you can now, without decoder, download the Afro Mobile and watch Host TV free of charge right over there, without any cost, without any decoder. You save a lot of money for yourself. That is how accessible we are. And for those who can be able to download from the Play Store, download the Host Media app, and you'll be able to catch us 24 hours, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year. That is how accessible the Host TV is, and we continue to make sure that we bring to you the best and bridge the technologies that can make us to be always with you. If you get into your workplace, if you are taking your children to school, if you're a border, remember to keep safety first, and remember to make sure that the children also reach in time. So start your preparations very early, wherever you're catching us from. Let's get to our first break, and when we come back, we'll be shaping the discussion around issues to inspire youths and issues to make sure that we have ventures, we have entrepreneurs who are successful, and we have the young minds who are able to thrive and take up the Uganda's economy right over there. Let's get in this break, and when we come back, we'll be having a discussion centered around entrepreneurship. Thank you.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Visit us on www.hotellaconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Ever imagined if you woke up one day and you are invisible? That's how you'd look to the government if you were a citizen but you don't have a NIN.
You have a name? Do you have a NIN? Do not be like Mwede. Visit a NIRA registration center near you to get a NIN or renew your national ID today.
Welcome to Dreamland Hotel, where luxury meets convenience. Experience the perfect blend of comfort and sophistication at our premier hotel. Step into your home away from home, where elegance and comfort converge. Our spacious and beautifully appointed rooms and suites are designed to meet your every need. Relax and unwind in our tranquil accommodations, complete with all amenities to ensure a restful and rejuvenating stay. Hosting a business event? Look no further. Our hotel offers cutting-edge conference facilities that are sure to impress your guests. From intimate board meetings to large-scale conferences, our versatile spaces and professional staff will ensure your event is a resounding success. Dive into a world of relaxation and bliss at our magnificent swimming pool. Bask in the warm sunshine as you lounge by the water or take a refreshing dip. Our poolside oasis offers the perfect escape where you can unwind and soak up the serene atmosphere. Embark on a culinary journey at our exquisite restaurant, where flavors from around the world come together to tantalize your taste buds. From gourmet delicacies to local favorites, our talented chefs create culinary masterpieces that will leave you craving for more. Unwind and socialize at our vibrant bar and lounge, the perfect spot to enjoy handcrafted cocktails, fine wines, and a wide range of beverages. And let us take care of your every detail, making your time with us truly unforgettable.
Introducing Host TV, your ultimate advertising destination. Get 50% discount offer today. Elevate your brand with Host TV. Available on YOTV, Afro Mobile, and Host Media app. We offer commercial advertising, live event broadcasting, streaming service, social media marketing, publication on dailywestnile.info. We are Host TV. Connect with us on all social media platforms. Host TV, exploring.
They say modern problems deserve smart solutions, so there is no need to line up in queues or go in congested places just to purchase your grocery. Omia Foods gets you fresh, tasty, and nutritious food stuff with no queues, no stress, and no congestion. Get tomatoes, onions, cabbage, milk, dressed chicken, eggs, fruits, and so much more at a market-friendly price with different payment options at the counter. You can pay using cash, Momo, Visa, or FlexiPay, or dial our USSD code *284 *173# to have an order delivered to you from our stores. We are located on plot number 6, Staff Lane, Junior Quarters, Arua City.
prices. Stream big and save bigger with your TV channels app. Enjoy your favorite shows, movies, comedy, local hits, kids content and sports for just 1,000 shillings daily plus a 4GB data bonus. Better still, for just 2,500 shillings, grab the weekly bundle with 10GB streaming data and a 3-day free trial. Don't wait. Download the OTV channels app now and take control of your entertainment. Pause, rewind, record, play anytime, anywhere. Stream big, save bigger with your TV channels.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Visit us on www.hotellaconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Ever imagined if you woke up one day and you are invisible? That's how you would look to the government if you were a citizen but you don't have a NIN.
You have a name? Do you have a NIN?
Yes, viewer, it is a very chilly weather right here in Aroa City, wherever you're getting us from. We're coming live from Host Hub Innovation Center. This is the Host TV, and being a faster day of the week, that is Monday. The Monday's editions are always inspirational and very, very catchy for us right here. And for those who are catching us all the way from areas like Fort Portal, areas like Kampala, areas like Jinja, we also have people who have been getting us as far as Ntungamo, and you could also be from South Sudan, you could be from South Africa, wherever you're in this globe here. Remember, this is a Host TV, and it is the second hour of this very show here, the Morning Explorer, and today being a very fresh start of the week. We want to start a week just like how we have been started it in the first hour, that we'll be having a guest in studio to understand more something on entrepreneurship, but not only an entrepreneurship, but a successful entrepreneurship, how you could be able to grow your business, you could be able to grow your idea, access fund, and in some cases also access loans that can be able to boost you and make you be that successful person. And in studio, I must be able to say I have a gentleman who is not only a gentleman, but a successful entrepreneur who over the years has seen it through a lot of business ventures and has worked with companies, has worked with organizations, and has worked with corporate bodies. If you talk about Uganda Bati, you talk about Roofings, and you talk about others. I'm not best to talk much about this gentleman I'm about to introduce in studios here, but many of you also know him as a fitness coach, and he's one person who does a lot of fitness and is very fit to say all that he can be able to talk about. Join me to welcome officially the guest we have in studio, and that is Mr. Obeida Andama. If you can see on the screens right over there, we have a guest. Yes, let's start from there.
Thank you, Aldo, for inviting me here. The name is not Obida. The name is Obida. Obida.
Actually, let's start from there. Obida. Is that a Lugbara name or?
It is a Lugbara name.
Obida. What the Obida?
Obikida.
Obikida.
Yes.
I thought it was Obeida because I was trying to.
Most times, even some people call me Obedia. So, thank you, our viewers. The name is Robert Andama Obida. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Let's start from there. We very well know that in terms of, if we are to talk about entrepreneurship and if we talk about business ventures, if we talk about all the things we're moving on, we want, if we could look at that camera and just try to understand who is Andama Obida, who is that very gentleman that we are having in studios today with us right here. Yes.
Thank you. Andama Obida is a student and at the same time also doing some work. Trying to do my PhD. Why do I say I'm trying? Because it's not easy. Yeah. Having 36 months in class, it is not easy. Mm-hmm. And above all, doing it online, remotely, it is more difficult than being physically. I have studied, not much, but I'm trying my level best.
Yeah.
I've worked with organizations here and there. And currently, I am the CEO of Muni Investment Company Limited that operates within Muni University, and we are more into indigenous knowledge preservation. We need to keep the cultures of West Nile. Yeah. Basically that. Apart from that, I'm a business starter. I'm a co-founder of Remote Global Solutions that operates more in Kampala, but as the name states, we do work remotely and do a lot. And also a co-founder of Impact Next Capital Lenders, a microfinance institute. Yeah, basically that is who I am. I'm a Lugbara. You are trying to find out where the name Obida comes from.
Yeah.
Basically, I live in Arua and also do some few things here and there. Thank you.
Yeah, just before we go in much to know, because my interest is to look at you at the angle of the capital and angle of how youths can be able to, many youths have been able to go and get loans for themselves. But before we delve into that discussion, let's look at the initiative that you're running through Muni University, Preserving Culture. And we well know that West Nile has one of the most diverse cultures. After every 8 kilometers, you're getting another diverse culture. And we have also found other cultures that are distinct, that are trying to identify. You look at the Nubian culture. So how is the vision of this Muni initiative that you are trying to see that we have a culture preservation right over there?
Right. When we look at our current children, let me say from the millennials and also now the Gen Zs, many of them actually don't know what some of these Lugbara cultures or the Aluru cultures, what our forefathers were using. So it makes it a bit hard for these people for our children, the youth of today, to know what was there before. And when it comes to the technology right now, where everything is at the palm, some people, if you ask them cultural things, they may never even be able to tell you what this is. And they may not even know which generation they are in their family. They only know their father and maybe perhaps their grandfather, but the great-great-grandfather or great-great-parents, they even don't know where they are coming from. Basically, that is what we're looking at. And also to make sure we're trying to look at the youth in the region come in the right senses. We are working with the schools in West Nile. We try to do what we have. We have been promoting careers. Not only that, if you have not gone to school, it doesn't mean that you don't have a career. Our settings do believe that to have a career, you must be in school, study up to certain level, get a degree, get masters, and then get a good job, a collar job, and then you move on. That there they will term you as someone who has a successful career. Forgetting that there are people who have never even seen a classroom. They have vast knowledge of what is going around, from business, from looking around how to get more money. They are there. We have even examples in Arua. examples in Uganda, if we go from region and then to the entire country. And even we have examples, if we go Africa, we go East Africa, we have people who have never seen the knowledge, but because they have desire to learn more, not within the classrooms, but to learn more in the markets, to learn more in the economies that we have, they have succeeded. So we are looking at that. What we need is to have our West Nile people, to the young people, to be in that right direction where if it comes to schools not to have strikes, schools to move in the right direction. That is with secondary schools, and with primary schools, we need to bring these knowledges earlier. So the right senses start from primary. Just like, a tree, if you want a tree to grow straight, the tree you must start it from when it is young. Yeah. Otherwise, if you want to bend the branches when it is old, instead you are going to kill the tree. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, just also looking at your discussion on SEPTA around the schools, and then secondly, looking at the institution where you're putting this from. Many people think that going to Moon University, you must be an academia. Now, putting a cultural institution or cultural idea in such a space, how are you trying to envision those who fear actually? Some people actually fear walking to Moon University.
True.
I don't know whether. And how accessible is this idea that you're trying to bring through Moon University to preserve our cultures right over there?
Now, when we are looking at the university setting, Moon University, investment is a limited company. So being a limited company, we are trying to teach our people that more much as we are trying to access the knowledge, we must always part with some financials. And we have been dealing with the schools, the high schools, that is secondary schools, and we find ourselves even making them pay to come to university and to learn what other people are doing out there. Like the recent event we had was the career promotion, where we had a theme that Go Green West Nile, our environment, my responsibility, which is to teach these young ones that the first step in our life is to make sure that we don't destroy the environment. And we had a number of corporate bodies that we partnered with. We partnered with Centenary Bank. We partnered with NFA. We partnered with Pepsi, Crown Beverages. So they are able to support us, including Radio Patches and others that came in. It was where we also brought the university chairman, that is Jaita, Joel, Doctor, to come and also inspire these young children or the young youth into taking a right direction. So we had to also make sure that we bring the cultural leaders to come and impact what the Lugbara culture, what the cultures in West Nile, what an African culture, how it is supposed to be like. So that is basically what we're looking at. And with how the economies are transcending and how we are moving forward, where we are mostly depending on America, and if we keep on thinking that everything is free, and then we may not even move anywhere. Yeah.
Talking about free things, America and the economy right over there, I just want to bring back this discussion now. That viewer, you can be part of this by joining the WhatsApp line right over there. So let's get to what we can be able to look at now. The next capital financing, the initiative that you have started, that is looking at issues of access to capital for the youth entrepreneurs out there. So how does it mean for a youth to access capital in Uganda? And how is the phenomenon like for someone who has been in this business and who knows it, who is running it, and who has been very successful in one way or the other? Let's start the discussion from there.
Thank you, Aldo. And business financing and business startups, these are ways how someone has to go. People normally say people count capital into various stages. Yeah. Others say capital, you must have the knowledge. And then you must have the physical capital, that is the cash, the land, and so forth. And then one capital that we always keep on forgetting is the social capital. Much as you are starting business, you must know who are going to be your customers. And in most cases, our first customers are our close friends and relatives. Though sometimes when we bring close friends and relatives, they end up even running down your business. I have friends who started bars because they know their friends will come and support
They
them.
became
In
the
the next
customers.
2 weeks, the business did not even take up to even maybe not even the first stage. The business was able to collapse before even the day the person mentioned. He paid for 3 months, but he was unable to complete all the 3 months in the business. So what we were looking at when we were starting up Impact Next Capital Lenders Limited, we were looking at the way we are looking at how people can easily access finance. And you know, when we come to microfinances, microfinance organizations or facilities at times end up becoming SACs. You know, when we talk of SACs, they just only swallow things, and eventually you will even end up draining people. And when you look at, because previously, the banks were the ones that were only giving money.
Yeah.
And then we had few microfinance institutes. We had Pride, and then we had we had Letsegos, and then we had the Fincas,
Finca,
which
yes.
eventually all became what? Banks. And then also there's this one for women, forgetting the
Finance-
name.
there's Finance Trust
Not Finance Trust. I've forgotten the name, but it's the one that really even brought a lot of impact amongst the women. The bank is where former Gaga is.
BRAC, I think.
BRAC, yeah.
BRAC,
You know,
yeah.
BRAC, by the time when we were growing up,
Yeah.
BRAC really did a lot in West Nile, and it is still continuing doing. Even though they have become a bank, but I do believe they still have the NGO wing that keeps on supporting women. So many a times people choose these things wrongly, because when someone is starting up a business, the person is pressed with a lot of options. People are always pressed with a lot of options, but they never put themselves in coming up with value proposition. What problem am I solving in the communities? What problem is my business going to solve? That is actually one challenge that we're having with the startups. People start up a business because someone sees a friend is doing so.
True.
Someone sees another person has ventured into the business and they are successful. And then the person goes without even knowing what problem I'm solving. So when we were starting this, the capital, Next Capital, we are looking at what problem we needed to solve. And one of the problems we are solving is the startups, where many microfinance institutions came in. Many of them, their interest is only one, to make sure that we get out of you what you can give us, even beyond the money that is even given. You find some microfinance charge people 20%, and this 20% is not like for banks. Banks charge normally annually.
Actually, before you move on, I just wanted this discussion to come on here. What triggers that percentage of the interest, right? Because sometimes it might be 20%, but the processing fees, someone is going to print document, so they end up tiring this youth very much. So what triggers that percentage to be 20 and above? Or what are the issues, and how unique is Next Impact Capital? By the way, many youths actually fear loans, particularly me also, I fear loans. So how can someone be able to access easily that within maybe one day, because I need money now, but someone delays me for up to 2 weeks. Time is money for that. So how accessible are finances if someone is to access through Next Impact Capital?
Thank you. In most cases, our money, it takes a day, but that will depend on how well your identity is. You know, in most cases, when you give people money, you know, if you want to know your true friends, it's when you give them money. Once you give someone money, that is the time when even the first enmity where it is going to begin. But in most cases, what we do due diligence about you. If you are delayed 2-3 days, that is when we are doing due diligence. Due diligence is done by every institution, including banks, including even anyone who is giving finance. But when it comes from friends, a friend gives you the money, you know that due diligence had already been taken course. Because the person knows you, the person knows that you are going to pay back. But there are also some friends whom you know, if you are going to give them money, you know this one is just a loss. You have to forego it. But when it comes to interest calculation, You know, many of these microfinance, as I said, they have become sacks. They only eat where if their one goal is for us to be rich. And another goal also comes that maybe when we give our money, if we give money to team A, when that money fails, we can be able to recover it using the interest we're charging on other people, which is actually wrong. We have the body that governs, that is Uganda Microfinance, the UMRA, Regulatory Authority, Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, that sits at Rinzori Towers in Kampala, that gives annual certificates to these microfinance institutions. There are those genuine microfinance institutions. In Arua we have them, and they work diligently, and they really serve the people. But we have those that just keep on, they make sure that they charge people more, and the more you pick money, the more you may not even know that you are being finished.
When you're talking about this brings to me, there's this loan that they call it Tsotsotia. So this, imagine someone is every day is working out a profit and giving to this person, and they only pick national ID. There was a time they only pick in the national ID or your phone number, and then they give you the loan. But the interest end up, if you accumulate it, you actually every day you're doing business for someone, and they have gone as deep as rural areas, and the accessibility has made it to be as if they are the best option for financial access to many women who are doing businesses. So, do you have modalities whereby you also reach to women to capitalize on those who are scamming them as a lending institution?
You know, when before I go into that, when it comes to women in Arua city and most of the West Nile region, women actually, kudos to women in this in our region, they are more enterprising than the men now. Even when it comes to the youth, the youth who are women are more enterprising than men. Men, please, when I'm passing, don't throw stones at me. But that is the truth, and it's the bare truth that women are doing more businesses. Like even when you see the trucks going to these markets, Saturday markets, Wednesday markets, you will see women are more. Meaning that women are more victims, and women take more loans than men. And what also happened is, I'd said earlier, that you find that these microfinance, they are those that charge a lot of interest. They look at someone that if we lose from this person, we can easily acquire this from another person. So they end up charging people 20%, 25%. And why is it that way? And why are people still going for that? It's because people really love the sense of money. And one thing when it comes to startup businesses, and when you are doing business and you go in for a microfinance loan that is charging you 20% on daily basis, as you said earlier, you are actually doing business for someone. You are not doing business for yourself. You find that whatever that you are getting, it all goes to the loan. And when you are starting business, normally my advice to people, if you are picking money for starting up a business, 500,000, 1 million, that is what women come to do. They will say, I need 500, I need to buy fish, and then, I buy some items, I'm going to start up a business. My answer is always no. If you are picking 500 and you want to start up a business, it is a complete no. Why? In most cases, you find that the 500 you are going to spend it. Maybe you pay rent. Let's say you are paying rent of 20 or maybe 30 in a small place. You are going to stock. Remember, this is going to be a business. Many reasons why we start up a business. One, it is to keep ourselves busy. Two, it is to make our families or ourselves financially stable. That if a problem comes, I can be able to sort out the problem. But you find that in the first two or 3 weeks, the money is visible. But what happens afterwards, it even becomes difficult for you to pay this 500,000. And remember, you are paying 500,000 on interest of either 15 or 20%, meaning that you are going to end up paying up to 700,000. And if you are doing that daily, you find that in an economy where competition is so high, where people are fighting for customers left and right, you may find even in a day you have sold less than what you are supposed to pay the people who are demanding you in terms of loans.
There's something you just triggered in my mind, that how people normally take these loans right over there. There are people who take loans to go and organize weddings, to go and do marriages. Others are also getting these loans to go and finance their birthdays. Others want. So how does this mindset of picking loans? Someone comes to you, even presents a business idea that we want to start up this business, but at the end the money is actually going to celebrating birthdays. So how does this mindset get removed out that businesses are more than birthdays, if we're to talk about our case for us in West Nile or in Uganda?
Now, when you talk about picking money for these fancy things, like maybe even you forgot going to clubs. At times people pick money, they are just going to club, just going to blow the money off. You know, in most cases, that is what I was telling you, that due diligence has to be done. Though at times in carrying out this due diligence, you can easily be deceived. People normally arrange themselves with another person's soap. Someone comes and says, you go, just allow me to take photo in your soap, that these people can give me money. And eventually they give you 20,000 for taking photo, and then you end up going out. But what I normally advise people who want to pick money loan for business, like business loan to do birthdays, maybe weddings, I would advise you go to friends. You get money from friends. At least a friend will have mercy on you and may not charge you the interest. And mind you, at times we have so many microfinance institutes that cannot even be liable to take people to court because they don't have the licenses to give people money. Now, someone comes up before you go to court. That is the first thing they're always asking you. They ask you that where is the certificate that you are using for giving people loans. Otherwise, if it is like that, you are only being treated as you borrowed someone money and you are not supposed to charge interest. And remember, those people who are charging interest pay taxes. But now we have a lot of these institutions that are not even registered. They don't have certificates because they are exploiting people's ignorance. They are exploiting people's ignorance, and people vividly go in for it because love of money. And when you see if someone is giving you 100,000 with loan, you are going to pay with 120, and they will tell you 1 week. And you may think that 1 week, it is going to be possible. You find that 100 will even defeat you in 1 week. And then we also have people who use smartphones. You find that nowadays, even when you are watching YouTube, you are going to see adverts for those loan apps. They will tell you, we are affordable, we charge 0.01.
Now, on this very one here, I think we have a special case to talk about. The phone, there was an instance whereby I didn't pick a loan, but from nowhere, I saw a phone calls coming in, messages coming in that my colleague had picked the loans, and now I didn't consent to that. Digital security is a very key issue. And then the following week, I found a WhatsApp group created. Help so and so raise this kind of money. So we have reached an extent of whereby even without my consent, my colleague who has picked the money has affected me. So how do these instances come about? How does government regulate these companies that are nowhere to be seen by the operational, like the ones we've mentioned, that do not have licenses, that even we don't know the CEOs, whose CEOs cannot appear in an open space like this? So how do we get to navigate them, and how does government actually regulate these companies?
Talking about government, sometimes government does its level best in doing this. But at times there are also individuals who work with the government that portray to be government itself, and then eventually they end up spoiling some of these things for us, the common citizens. As you know, Uganda is more of a capitalist state where people are only creating wealth and wealth and wealth. The poor masses will keep on suffering, and you find that the rich will continue being rich, and if you are not careful and you are poor, you will continue being poor. Because I normally tell youth, don't actually go into saying that let government help us. The common statement, it is everywhere, government atuyambe. It is a Luganda statement, but it is everywhere in Uganda that government should help us. But government will never help us. It is actually us who are to help government. If we start up ventures, businesses, you are going to start, government will start coming towards us. We'll make sure that we pay taxes for them to survive. But what government did for the case of those microfinance that are not regulated, like the ones who are collecting IDs, they actually set up a law. If you collect someone's national ID, because that is the property of government of Uganda, they can come after you. You realize those ones stopped.
Yeah, true.
And then there are these ones who are online. They had even set up regulations. But remember, these people are earning money, and this is where their employment is. They had to petition that they must be allowed to continue carrying out their activities.
Loans, yeah.
But you find that loan is not a bad thing, but it is how you spend it and how you go in for the best service provider. Now, I was telling you about these online ones. They are so enticing that you'll get loan within 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But eventually, you find these guys they are so tricky that you find a loan where they're telling you are paying 0.2 or 0.1. You are going to find yourself actually paying 20%. How do they do that? They will tell you there are no initial charges, but when you apply for these people's loans, they are going to give you, if you are borrowing 60,000, what comes into your mobile app or mobile account is actually maybe 38 or 35. They have smartly outsmarted you to take up the other percentage.
Before even you realize
Before you realize it. But what is different from financial institutions like the banks? The banks, what they always do, they charge you for insurance. Normally, sometimes whatever they charge, depending on the amount of loan. But once your loan expires or you have finished paying your loan, do you know what banks do? They actually pay your security back, that fee that they are deducted for insurance. So you find that financial institutions' loans are actually better to start for business startups, but not microfinance. Microfinance loans are good for someone who already has a startup. You find that you are only using the money to boost your business. But eventually, if you are going to say that you want to pick a microfinance loan to start up a business, you are actually taking yourself down into drain. The first 2 or 3 months, you will be able to pay. And then the 4th month, you cannot pay. Why do you pay even the first 2 months or the first 1 month? Why would you pay it without any pain? Because you still have the money. The money, the stock is still there. You have not eaten or diverted the stock.
Actually, there's a discussion I've been ranging around issues of loans. How can someone who is giving me business loan start charging me immediately on even the first month? So let's look at some more of inspirational to youths out there. If someone is to pick up a loan, what are those ideal businesses that can be, because our loans do not now make you first invest for maybe 5 years, you start paying later. You find you're picking this month and you start paying also that very month. So what are those good etiquettes or maybe those good ideas that a youth can be able to borrow money and they make it successful? Also from this, we would want to hear from you, based on you're a player in this industry. As a next Impact Lender Capital, are there some businesses that are able to have success stories that if a youth is watching us right now would wish to have a mentorship with such businesses who picked money from you and now they're successful? And that could be actually peer-to-peer mentorship. Are there some people who have done that and are successful within this town or within Uganda or within the rates that someone is getting us, they can be able to get mentorship from there? Yes.
Thank you. When we talk of West Nile, startups in West Nile, it's a bit tricky. But Kampala, it is much easier because, Kampala is a capital city and people know how to survive. When we talk of successful businesses in Kampala, yes. But in West Nile, businesses in West Nile hardly even reach 1 year. Why? Because people are more they have a lot of expenses. There is a lot of dependency syndrome, whereby there are so many people who are depending on this one business, and the wife takes money, or the girlfriend takes money, the boyfriend takes money, and then even the one who is the shop attendant, or the one who is working there as the person in charge also takes money. So you find it is hard. I think the highest business that we tried that moved was 1 year and 8 months. But eventually also the owner disappeared and the business also disappeared because now she had a multiple loan. tuning up to 45 million. So we have that challenge with our youth in West Nile. They always they start up something, they don't put perseverance in whatever they're starting. And as I said earlier, no vision, value proposition of the business. What problem am I solving? Many of us, we are solving temporary problems. We only look at something that we can achieve within 2 days or within 4 days or even in a month. If I don't see customers, you find someone says that business is the wrong one. We have so many people who are in...
let me chip in this discussion right here. There's that belief for us. I always do a lot of policy and analyze the businesses in Arua town. When we first opened KKT Center, even Concord, most of us were fearing to go and pick out those houses and rent from there. Then when the adverts went to Kampala, we saw the people from Kampala, the Baganda, came and took out all those lower stalls, which were even more expensive.
Yes.
And they were able to even pay rent. They have been successful. So one house has 3 businesses, and these 3 people are jointly doing business and they pay in rent. And for us, this thing is very hard. So what is the biggest thing you, as someone who has been seeing these businesses here? You talked about issues of rent, issues about people who are taken from this business, but we are seeing other people coming in here, they are thriving and they are getting a lot of money and they are going back to invest in their area. So what could be that mindset we need to change through maybe discussions that we set in this program, that is the Morning Explorer? Viewer, you can be part of the discussion by dropping a comment on the post that is running on there, or you can use the numbers on your screen, that is 070-2321-169 WhatsApp, and we'll be able to be part of this. There are some questions you have there. There are others that the guest has in studio here. Remember, we're looking at why is it that when even people pick loans here, they fail. But someone who comes, an Indian or even an Eritrean who comes and picks up a loan here is successful. So let's speak from there.
It is all about discipline. You talked about people coexisting in one room, and which is something that our youth in West Nile have failed to do. People can only coexist in one place, as I said earlier, 1, 2, 3 months, and then you find quarrels start. If it is not they themselves, it is going to be the wives or the girlfriends, or even the relatives are going to start. They will push one saying that this one is cheating you. In Kampala, in the central Kampala metropolitan, it is easier, because the cost is high, cost of rent is high. You find a cost of 1 million. In a business, if you remove 1 million in a month to pay the landlord, which is a good thing for your stay, but that 1 million eventually will carry you downwards. But what the guys in Kampala do, they come up and team with their friends. If the rent is 1 million, they look at the size of the room. They see if four businesses can be in this one room. And then you find someone is selling clothes, another one is selling books, another one is selling something different, or maybe an accessory to the clothes. So you find it is easier. Now, if 1 million divided by 4, that is 250,000. You find we are growing together. But the challenge with our people here is, I want to do it alone, and I know I can do it. And eventually, it is a good thing to always start something alone. And many people now, like many of us, we keep a low key just to make sure that we do things on ground where people think that, oh, this one has failed, but eventually they come and see, oh, I think this person, we thought he had failed, but he's still going on. But if the discipline, perseverance, and having vision in whatever our youth are doing, it can make them come up together and team up as one body to make more profits. Because you can't really do it entirely alone, because you need other people. Another challenge we also have is because we fear that now if I have my shop next to so-and-so's shop, and so-and-so is having a lot of customers, and then me I'm not having, maybe my friend is bewitching me. True. We fear actually our people coming close or doing the same business. For example, if you are dealing in poultry and I also start poultry, I automatically become your enemy. And yet with the metropolitan, as now Arua is a city, soon maybe we may be given that status of a metropolitan city. So if we start envying one another in business, it becomes a way that we are not going to move forward.
And then there's one thing I realized in the markets here, our market, if you go to Arua main market, You find on Wednesdays, the whole place is full of maybe
tomatoes.
Yet there are no onions and no one thinks about that. And I always ask myself, in a place where people fail to think, it becomes very hard. And then secondly, you find even someone moves the whole market and doesn't find onion, but comes to a neighbor here who is selling tomatoes and is asking onion from the other neighbor who is not there. This one who is selling next to the neighbor will not accept that, okay, let me sell for my neighbor, will even refuse to sell this. And
that
both
is
of
what
them are losing. So what really comes, are there business mentorship or coachings you do to these women in marketplaces, or are there some outreaches as an social corporate responsibility that you do to see that we have such mindsets taken away? Let's discuss it from there.
No, you find that, some of these things may be hard for us to remove out of people. As I told you that there is a lot of envy. In our businesses, we see the next person as our competitor, even when he's dealing in a different product. True. You have mentioned one is selling onion, another one is selling tomatoes. But you find that eventually these two people don't even correlate. That's why when you go to the market, you find that there are a lot of quarrels. Even when you find out the details of the quarrels, they are actual baseless quarrels. But what we only encourage our youth is to support one another. If one is selling tomatoes, as you said, let me start onions. So that if the person gets onions and gets from me tomatoes, and then we move on. But the challenge we also have is you find if I'm selling tomatoes, you start selling onions, tomorrow let me stock onions here. Because people are ever going to buy onions from you, which is a wrong thing. Where we need to come and coexist with all our competitors. If someone is starting one thing, and then you go into it. And then we have these differences. I normally tell, when you mention about market, we have in market, there are two things. There is people always think that people believe doing business and trading are the same thing. Those are two different things. Business is a continuous thing. But trading is today I buy one thing, I sell, I make my profit out of it. Tomorrow I'm going to start up another thing. Like today I'm selling tomatoes, tomorrow I'm going to sell onions. I buy tomatoes once, make profit, do away with it. Buy maybe maize, sell maize, finish that. That is trading. Though trading also takes part in business. Many times when we start talking about this, people start saying, stop confusing us. Just like the way how starting a business.
Just on this one, I see there's a confusion in trading. There are these gambling trading online things whereby they say invest $100, and there was this thing of the Yuga Chick, and then there was one for BLQ. So many of the youths actually risk their money to go into such online activities. And which trading is this one now that you're talking that some youth will not think about, hey, I lost money in BLQ, or I lost money in online chicken. So
now, when I talk of trading, I stated it clearly. Yeah. You get one item at a time. You get an item, like for example, you say, I go to Kampala, I buy matoke, full load of fuso, or maybe from Barara or Masaka, I bring to Arua, I sell, I make my money, I do away with that. And then the next is I target another thing. Maybe goats are expensive in Duruba. Yeah. I only go to Mbarara or maybe Soroti, I buy goats, I take to Duruba, that is done. Then I look for another thing. It is season for Irish, but Irish people have gone off. I go to Mbale or Sironko, I buy Irish, I bring to Arua, after finishing, I am into trading. I'm not into business. Okay, so I get one item, get done with it. Maybe I also do that same item another time. That is where the difference is. But business is continuous. Business, even trading, you can have a store. Yeah. But business, you are always there non-stop. In different items, you mix the items. Yeah. Just the same thing as startups. There is starting up an enterprise and starting up a business. Those are completely different things.
Now, there is something that always makes me to wonder. Issues of taxation, and then secondly, formalization of businesses. Most of the businesses in our region are not registered. Many people do a lot of smuggling, and then others fear that if I formalize my business, they only come to formalize when they are going out to lend in institutions like what you guys are doing, or maybe to the banks. Then they'll say, we need your registration study. Then someone spends a lot of money now registering a business, and this was not intended part of getting the money from even gets money from friends so that he can be able to register and access this loan. So two things, business formalization, and then secondly, taxes also. The taxes are, is it very fair to evade the tax? Because now when you're starting a business, you have a tax there. When you're going to buy a soap, another tax. The goods you're buying also. So how friendly can someone be able to formalize? The biggest fear is if I formalize, government will start taxing me.
You have always had a statement, some MPs saying that stop wasting taxpayers' money.
Yeah.
You know, whenever I listen to that, sometimes I start wondering, okay, what are these people really meaning? Stop wasting taxpayers' money. To our youth out there, I said earlier, you know, we should stop saying government atuyambe. We should stop saying government should help us. But it is us to give to the government. And now, when you are starting up a business, the best way is always actually to register the business with URSB, where you are going to get so different, they call them forms. There is Form 1, Form 18, Form 20, and then you get those various articles. You have the articles of the business. The articles are the directions where this business is going, that you can operate this business anywhere in Uganda. You can register the business here in Arua, and you still carry out your trading or your businesses in any other region or any other district in Uganda. It is a good thing. And then also the business should have a TIN, that is the tax identification number, to know that this is a BCD business. Now, the one thing I think it is always just a misinformation. Many people fear that URA is going to overtax them. But at times, it is we who are carrying out the business that makes URA to have that doubt on us. One, we love hiding. I start up a business, I may not open up the truth about the business to URA. And now URA comes to my business to know that this business is existing. And then we'll say, let's try to estimate the profit you are making. You find in the business, there are no records. We don't normally do bookkeepings. Anything that goes out, so it becomes also hard for the tax bodies to charge you or to assess you. So they only do estimations, and then you find at times the estimation may end up going higher. And now at times people also have a misconception that it is very bad to open up a business account for my business. Because if I do, they are going to track all these things, any payment that moves. You know, the truth is, any payment that comes to you, government must take share of it. You must give to government. Because the amenities that the government has to develop, where does government get money from? Do we always coexist or saying that we have to borrow? We cannot keep on borrowing. We must get money for the development of the country. That is where the statement comes, stop wasting taxpayers' money. It is a good thing to pay tax, and it is a good thing for us to register our business. It is the identity of that business. So that if I go to any place, you will find that they are going to say, this business exists. Even mere trading licenses, many people don't want to pay. Until the city authorities always go and lock people's shops and people's places. Yet these things have to be paid. So it is always good to pay taxes, but you must keep the documentations right. Without documentations, it becomes hard for these people to assess your businesses.
Yes, viewer, thank you very much. The discussion is very interesting now. For us, always we want to make the discussion first trigger, then we come and give you a call for action so that you can be able to get yourself sorted out. If you're a youth out there, this discussion matters basically to you. And those who are following us on the various social media platforms, remember, these discussions will always continue to remain there. If you fail to get the time now, get yourself watched. That is the beauty of having an online, a satellite TV that is always accessible to you. Now, before we just have some few minutes to move out of here. Now, our call to action is, if someone is watching out there and having picked all this discussion from you, it is very hard to access finances. So where can someone be able to find the next impact capital lenders? And what are some of the services you do there? What are some of the products, unique products that are tailored to only see that businesses succeed, only to see that if someone is able to borrow now and has access to this money, he can be able to be the next maybe CEO, the next successful business person. So let's pick up from this as a call to action for someone who's watching us. Where should they be able to go, and where can they be able to find a view?
Thank you. It is only through getting through me what I decided, Arua office, I closed them because of personal reasons. And then, but Kampala office is still open. As I told you earlier, Kampala, it is easier to get business, and people are genuine. You hardly get people who can just swindle the money, even when their credentials are okay. Apparently, apart from Moon University, I have my home office. I decided to do the American system, where you can even use your garage or you use your home as an office. So there are many people who always come, but many of them even give me a phone call. And then there you just go, you do the assessments and do the needful. The products that we do in the two companies, we do startups. We guide people along startups, which business you are supposed to venture in. And you had asked me that earlier, but we skipped it. I don't know how. True. But there are so many businesses that you can do even with 500,000 and persistence. Uganda is a unique country where labor is cheap, but capital is expensive. Even when I say 500, you may find in the next two months or 3 months, you have not even gathered 500 because we have problems. We need to feed our families, we need to feed ourselves, we need to dress ourselves, but you find 500 becomes hard to even collect. But with government initiatives such as PDM, when one gets that money and you're youth, you get 1 million, even with 500, you can start up a decent business, like maybe selling good second-hand clothes or having, at times people fear making chapati stalls. True. That thing makes a lot of money.
Actually, those years back when we used to call them the Soroti boys or the Kampala boys, they were the only, ours here, it was the female who would make this ordinary chapati that was not tasty. But when we started seeing these guys from Kampala coming to Arua making chapati and making a lot of fortunes in here, everyone also jumped into.
Yeah, so that is what we do. We guide people onto that business that you must keep records. And you have, even if it is selling one, even if you're selling sand, it is good that you register the business. Good thing in Uganda, business registration doesn't take a long time, and the procedures are not as hard as some other countries, like maybe Tanzania or DRC, where the startup, like registering a business is a bit hard. But Uganda, you can start today, in a week's time or 2 days, the business has already been registered.
Okay. The viewer, as we get to wind this discussion here, Mr. Obida is a book writer, and he has written a lot of books that can mentor you. I kept that to be the last part of this because I know through some of these last-minute discussion, you can get a call to action and a call to direction to see how best, besides this 1 hour or 40 minutes plus discussions we have had with him here. So what inspired you to get also into book? I'm seeing a book, just if you can show it to our cameras right over there. The Mindset, by the Mindset Trap, very nice. And if it is a book written from West Nile, someone must be able to know that it has a lot of content, volumes being here. So what entails in this book and some of the books that you have written?
I unfortunately only had this one because it is the one I love most. I wrote this with a friend of mine who were dedicating it to the late mother. That is late Badaru Gertrude. He wrote this together with Claudia. And if we all know, late Badaru Gertrude was so positive about how youth can get positive impacts in their lives. And her theme was mostly the mindset change. So we came up with something to say mindset trap, where the prison we choose to live in, it is the ways that we can remove those negativities in our mind. You had asked a lot of them here, that how can we get those negative thinking about business? It is all about it. Enterprise selection, which enterprise you can choose, what you can do, and how can you make it better. Having a vision, having a purpose in life. That it doesn't mean that if you are born in a poor family, it doesn't mean that you must continue being poor. If my dad, my mom were poor, if I die poor, and then it is never their fault. It is actually my fault. Just like you see these artists who say that die poor, die rich, keep trying. So you must always keep on trying. So it is all about that. There are other books, Against All Odds, Everything Counts. It is also a positive thinking book. Then there is your input determines your output, what you actually take in. It is what you will give out. if you know, in computer language, they say garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
So whatever you take in is what actually you give. Though Christians say that it doesn't matter what goes inside you, it is what comes out of you is actually
but the Christian who studies canon law, who understand canon law, will understand that actually there are a lot of dynamics the Bible has gone through.
Yeah.
So let us take the modern Christian for that case. There's
so
a book,
another favorite book of mine, Fight to Win, that I love it. I keep on reading it and rereading it because in our lives we have a lot of battles, but we must always fight. It is not a physical fight. It is the battles that you go through, the businesses. Not everything ends with quarrels. Not everything ends with, that song which says, Amasuru Eringa. That we are very dangerous when it comes to fight. Not that fight, but we must fight to win. And then there is the other interesting book that I always think that, even me myself, I think that I'm a psychopath.
Yeah.
Writing, that was actually one of the difficult things I've ever done in my life. Writing the book about psychopath. That working like a psychopath and succeed. And psychopaths, they are very good people, intelligent people, but it is a very bad habit. I don't know why English puts it to be a bad thing. But you find that there are so many people who are psychopaths. Yeah. At times writing that, I was even looking at myself that I think I'm also a psychopath. I got the vision or the way of writing. It is all about, I always know that there is none of us who is going to be permanent in this world. Right now I am 40 years, but I always tell everyone that, in 35 years, there will be no Robert under Mobida, but there will be under Robert's children. Just like you see, the name Obida is our great-grandparents' name, but the name we are carrying it. So writing a book, having a knowledge in a book, this book will be non-stop. You find that even if I'm gone, the book will be there. True. And people will still continue getting this knowledge, and they will say, there was one person who lived ABCD.
Yes, it is interesting that this discussion just made it to fly as if time can fly. But there's one thing I picked from you is the book writing. I've been trying to write a book. It has taken me almost 3 years now. And I think the title has been able to go into awards, but the story has not yet come out. You have around 5 books. Just maybe as you give your parting thoughts in here, how does it be like the book writing? Maybe someone also doing a business. When customers are not coming, you keep on putting some article down. So how easy is it for someone to be able to come with a book like what you've done here?
Now, the idea is always, first of all, having a vision that this must come out. Writing a book, you must, the first thing people say that it is a bit hard, but you must get the content. What book do I need to come up with? What are the ideas I'm going to put in? Once it comes out, the rest becomes history. The editors will do for you the work. People say that maybe writing a book, you must have done literature, you must be good in English or what, but it is all about having the ideas. That's why we have editors. Editors will do the corrections, and they will even do the arranging of the book, the flow of the book. The idea is, when we are sleeping, it is when actually our mind goes into a subconscious state. Your mind reflects about everything that you have done through the day. That's why if you see our children when they are sleeping, at times they dream chasing their friends. Yeah. So when the mind gets you have an idea, it's always good to sleep with a notebook next to you and a pen. Yeah. Once those ideas, sometimes the ideas come. You wake up in the morning, you even don't know what you are thinking about last night. So it is a good thing that we keep notebooks around. If you enter my workstation, there are even papers. Sometimes I don't know what I've written in them. But eventually you find that you turn them into a piece that is like this. Yeah. You come into a book. So I normally encourage everyone to write. And just like, I one time posted in the family WhatsApp group, the Greater Asia. Yeah. It is always good for us to have that history. The same thing which also happens with Lugbara culture. Yeah. There are so many diverting stories when you hear from one person to another, but we have never had a proper written one. So it is always good if these things are put into writing right now, we can have our youth, our children, in the right direction. Okay, just the last one, maybe your telephone numbers, because I see the discussion has been quite interesting, and there are many people out there who wish to catch up with you after these discussions right here. Yes. You can reach me on 0207 00 90 89 02. That is for my calls.
Yeah.
And then my WhatsApp is 0754 850 824. Those are both Airtel lines. But there are people who may try to reach me on MTN,
for West Nile.
which is 0778 223 633. So those are my direct lines. And you can ask me a question, any question, we will always answer. But the best is always to reach me through WhatsApp. Even if it takes me time, I may not pick your call, but WhatsApp, I will definitely respond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, viewer. It has been a very good discussion, candid discussion, right here in the studios of Host TV. And remember, as Host TV, we always make sure that we bring people that matter to you, the people that inspire you, not only inspire, but make you to take a call for action that later on you can also be a successful person. Listening to the stories, the ideas shared by Obida is one that actually you can take to start the week for you. That is why we always make sure our Fresh Starter Week discussions are set on to see that within the next 5 or 6 days, you would be able to be a different person right over there. Don't forget that we'll be having other programming coming your way. Remember, we'll be leaving you with Afro Cinema, and later on, Olivia Uganda will be coming on with the AM to PM show, and we have a very big discussion right in there where we'll be having the Aivu Princess, and if you know about that Kakwa story that is trending all over social media, we'll be having more discussion and to see that we have more ideas set on that. Later on, we will be having the civic space discussing on the youth issues, and Stewart will be coming later in the evening with the drive down show before we take it down to the programming over the day right over here on Host TV. For now, let's catch up again tomorrow for the Morning Explorer, the same show. Those who missed out Desire, we did tell you that she will be back with us tomorrow and we'll be having all these discussions right here. For now, have the best of your day. Good morning.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Visit us on